Tonight, in this edition of the primetime newscast on Equinox Television, a CPP peaceful rally in the nation's capital suppressed and over 20 of party supporters arrested by security forces. We'll tell you how and why it happened in this edition of the news. Also ahead, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, presents a balance sheet of what he calls atrocities perpetrated by pro-independence fighters in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon, but failed to mention the aftermath of military crackdown in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. In this edition of the primetime newscast on Equinox Television, we tell you about the content of the release that was made public yesterday by Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration. Plus, on a special story tonight, we will be telling you about the preoccupying health condition of fleeing Anglophone refugees in neighboring Nigeria. We'll also talk about the media landscape in Cameroon that is bereaved Pauline Poinsier Maninga of Le Jour newspaper passed on a few hours ago. Those are headlines. We shall be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the primetime newscast on Equinox Television. Let's begin right away with the protest of the Cameroon People's Party of Edith Kabangwala that was suppressed by security forces in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. 22 supporters of the party, as you can see, were picked up by security forces. They took to the streets calling on the President of the Republic of Cameroon to step down. They were equally decrying bad governance, violence in Anglophone regions of Cameroon and the situation of Anglophone refugees in neighboring Nigeria. It should be noted that 22 supporters of the Cameroon People's Party were picked up and taken to the 4th Central Police Station in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, for questioning. It was during the protest demonstration today in the nation's capital. It's not the first time that supporters of the Cameroon People's Party of Edith Kabangwala are arrested in the nation's capital. And as to why the converge on the nation's capital, Yaoundé, today, particularly women on Friday, dressed in black with brooms in their hands, Edith Kabangwala, the national president of the Cameroon People's Party, tells us more in the following excerpt.
The reason we are out today, the reason we are acting on this 8th of March, on the occasion of 8th of March, as women, as mothers of the nation, is that, as you know, our country is in a very, very dire situation. And we cannot continue like this as if nothing is wrong. Women who are here today from the southwest, from the northwest, they sleep with gunshots. They sleep in the bushes. Some of their sisters, family members have gone to neighboring countries as refugees. It is unacceptable. We as women have problems. In the 8 other regions, it's not as if women are fine. We don't have water. Women have to go kilometers and kilometers for water. We don't have roads. Women farm, produce their products. They are unable to sell and have money to take care of their children. So we say we have to be up. On 8th of March, it's good to wear the kaba and to dance. We must celebrate women. But it's also a day where we must express ourselves. So we have come out today to ask for an appointment with the head of state. We want to talk to the head of state. We want him to receive us as women. And we are inviting all the other political leaders, religious leaders, association leaders to join us. Let us sit down and talk as a nation and sort out our basic problems. When we have sorted them out, we'll go to good elections. We can have good governments. We can have all the nominations we want. But we will not, nothing will be improved in Cameroon until we have solved basic problems which we have today.
The national president of the Cameroon People's Party, the situation in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon to the CPP. Women needs urgent attention. The government of Cameroon, according to the Cameroon People's Party, women has remained indifferent to killings, brutality, violence and displacement of local inhabitants in the 2 Anglophone regions of Cameroon within the country and to neighboring Nigeria. One of the supporters of the CPP, Elise Nkwa, was speaking to a reporter in Yaoundé, I Cyril. Take a listen.
Apart from the problems our sisters from the other regions have already listed, Bamenda has, the north and southwest has a problem that is unbearable. Our children are not going to school. We receive gunshots every night. Our brothers, our sisters are running into bushes. We have already a refugee problem in Nigeria, and we are not even sure of the brothers in Nigeria, because they can at any time send them back to Cameroon, and they will not even have a place to stay. Our brothers are in prison for no reason, and today we have come to cry to this government of Cameroon that we need a change, and we want to sweep Cameroon as the northwest and southwest region in an indivisible country. Yes.
The women of CPP, that some 22 of them were arrested in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. We of course will be keeping you updated as soon as you are informed. We have been bringing to you exclusive reports on the living conditions of Anglophone Cameroonians in neighboring Nigeria. Another preoccupation is the unstable health condition of some of those who are being treated by the Nigerian authorities with assistance from the United Nations High Commissions for Refugees. But Derek Jato was in Nigeria observed recently that the efforts to save the lives of asylum seekers in some of the refugee camps are not enough. Let's have the details in the following package.
Southern Cameroonian refugees are dying in Nigeria.
We have been suffering, people have been dying, even children have been dying.
Sick the body will plenty. As today, as like myself, when I see so, I don't know how I go, you know how they hold me for hand by the camera. All these problems, I can't really go for a doctor for medicine, documents, this.
The United Nations and the Nigerian government have both contributed their own quota.
Even the National Commission for Refugees came in full swing with a lot of relief material. Along with this were drugs sent in by the federal government.
But the health services are far from being adequate for the 17,000 registered Anglophone refugees in Cross River State, Nigeria. Aya Foundation, a Cameroon-based humanitarian organization, descended to Nigeria.
We thought what we were hearing on social media, on the other major stations, that this was a joke. So we saw a lot of people. We did what we could do for them. This is just like a pilot project. So we go back to Cameroon, we know how to prepare better and come to take care of this group better. They are very sick people.
At Danare Health Center.
These people have been completely treated?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Some are sutured, but God and injuries, some 12 stitches treated.
Okay.
The foundation paid the accumulated bills of refugees that were treated here to enable the center buy more drugs, as many sick refugees keep on crossing the border on daily basis.
I will bring more drugs here,
okay,
because that was my problem. I was really bleeding over the drugs. Okay. So with this appreciation, I will try to bring more drugs again.
Okay. We are here at the Amana Health Center. Behind me, you see the final. Is under Cross River State. The health situation of Cameroonian refugees is so life-threatening.
At Amana Health Center, a financial donation was equally made, and in each health unit, this Cameroonian humanitarian team kept begging the Nigerian health personnel to continue treating the Anglophone refugees. And for better health care, some Nigerian doctors have even taken some Anglophone refugees to their homes.
My name is Mr. Emmanuel, a health worker with the Boki Local Government Council of Cross River State. Yeah, many of them came here with different conditions. First, the trauma of the war. They trekked so many miles carrying their luggages. They came here, they were weak. There are some with chronic problems that have been for years, like the ones that I'm accommodating here in my residence. I have two aged women. One of them had been diabetic for over 15 or 20 years. And the granddaughter of this aged mother is also diabetic. In fact, our situation is very critical.
It is widely speculated in Nigeria that this Anglophone crisis that is blamed for sending the Anglophone Cameroonians out of their country, Cameroon, is also responsible for the psychological torture these Sikh refugees are going through. For instance, the great-granddaughter of this 93-year-old mother said it is the greatest wish of her great-grandmother to go back. At the moment, she is having, therefore, her health, her age, and the Anglophone crisis to battle with. And such situations are familiar here in the 5 local government areas hosting the 17,000 Anglophone refugees here in Cross River State, Nigeria.
Derek Jato, the reporting was on a special assignment to Nigeria. With the Aya Foundation, we will continue to give you exclusive reports on the situation of fleeing Anglophone refugees in neighboring Nigeria. That's going to be in our subsequent newscast. Now, the Minister of Territorial Administration has presented the balance sheet of what he described as activities of secessionist forces in the Momo Division and other parts of the southwest and northwest regions of Cameroon. The outing of Paul Atanganji is coming after pro-independence fighters, according to the minister, on Wednesday this week attacked the Presbyterian Comprehensive High School PCHS in Batibo and kidnapped students. One Cameroonian soldier in the course of the military intervention was killed. 3 students wounded. Paul Atanganji recalled what he said series of attacks, precisely the kidnapping of the divisional officer for Batibo subdivision and the social affairs delegate in the northwest region of Cameroon, the attack of women, students, and the burning of public as well as private structures in the 2 Anglophone regions of Cameroon. The Territorial Administration Minister said that 18 girls aged between 13 and 18 have been sexually abused in Batibo, but failed to name or indicate the masterminds of the act. He added that 27 security forces have lost their lives so far, reason why the circulation of motorbikes has been suspended in the Momo and Gokutunja divisions of the northwest region of Cameroon and in Diang, as well as some parts of Meme, that is in Kumba 1, 2, and 3, and Konye, and also in the Moyoka subdivision, that is in Fako division of the southwest region of Cameroon. We now talk about activities to mark the 33rd edition of the International Women's Day, how it unfolded in some parts of the 2 English-speaking regions of Cameroon. Major streets were empty. That was yesterday in Bamenda. Shops closed as women converge on the Commercial Avenue to celebrate the 33rd edition of the International Women's Day. It was under tight security that the march past parade took place at the Commercial Avenue. That was the ceremonial ground, in a ceremony chaired by the governor of the northwest region of Cameroon. The turnout this year was more than what prevailed in 2017, given that last year it was barely 5 months after the escalation of the Anglophone crisis. And it should be noted that the governor of the northwest region of Cameroon during the ceremony of yesterday urged women to be peacemakers in the society. We of course will be telling you more in our subsequent newscast. Now, women in Tombel, a subdivision in Kupe Manengoba of the southwest region of Cameroon, have equally joined their voices to celebrate the International Women's Day. It was an opportunity for them to call on the government to do something about the situation rocking the 2 Anglophone regions of Cameroon. Simanjikan Gabriel tells us more in the following report.
Security was at the top as women of Tombel subdivision, Kupe Maninguba division, southwest region braved the odds to celebrate the day dedicated for them. It was an occasion for women to brandish messages like "Tombel is blessed." Tombel women say no to secession, and women of Tombel say children should go back to school. Even though most women had the new fabrics on, others couldn't afford. The reason forwarded is
because I don't have money to buy a dress. The crisis affect us.
The march past that was attended by a handful of women was a way to say no to discrimination.
we want to talk strongly. Coming out to march is to make the population know that we are against discrimination on women. All sorts of discriminations, whether house girls who work in different houses, whether men who pound on their wives, or say sexual abuse, we are against all these forms of discrimination.
The women had this message.
Women are a very important core of the society and is the mother of humanity, and they need to be respected upon.
The event at the Tombel ceremonial ground was chaired by the divisional officer Yam Leonard. Notwithstanding the celebrations within Tombel, the other women were busy going about their normal activities. But do these women master the theme of the day?
No, I don't know the theme. It's a woman day now.
The women of the Tombel community celebrating.
That is how the celebration took place in Tombel, in the southwest region of Cameroon. Now, major streets, as I indicated, were yesterday in Bamenda deserted. Shops closed as women converged on Commercial Avenue to celebrate the 33rd edition of the International Women's Day. It was under tight security that the march past parade took place at the ceremonial ground in Commercial Avenue in the northwest region. The turnout this year was more than that of last year, which took place barely 5 months after the Anglophone crisis escalated. The event was chaired by the governor of the northwest region of Cameroon, Governor Adolphe Lele Lafrique, that used the opportunity to call on women to play their role as society builders as well as peace agents in the society. Was speaking as a result of the socio-political tension rocking the two Anglophone regions of the country. And here in the economic capital Douala, while some women decided to stay indoors, others were at the basic ceremonial grounds and different ceremonial grounds here in the economic capital Douala to take part in the Women's Day celebration as well as the parade. We take you now to the basic ceremonial ground to have an excerpt of a supporter of the Social Democratic Front that is going to encouraging women to get themselves registered and take part in elections in the country. Take a listen.
I want to encourage all the Cameroon women, especially in Douala Littoral, to go in for election massively, because we cannot support our party without registering. If you don't register, your registration card is your bullet that you will shoot. If you cannot register, then you are not a good Cameroonian. You are not supporting the SDF in any way.
Okay. We want to congratulate all the women, because the women are the people who give birth to the head of state, to ministers. But we are asking them to go out massively and register to vote. Because to be mayor or councillor of the National Assembly, you have to be part of a political organization. And we choose the SDF because the SDF take care about the women. And you can see here, we are asking them to go and register because it is a right. They have to exercise that right. Women, socialist women fought to have that right. Today we should exercise it. Go out, register and vote.
The excerpts of SDF supporters here in the economic capital Douala encouraging women to take part in elections in Cameroon. We now talk about an illegal transporter of fuel that has fallen into the dragnet of officials in the Adamawa region of Cameroon. Officials in Gaundere Regional Committee or at the Gaundere Regional Committee to fight against sale of illicit fuel have so far seized a total of 31,800 liters of contraband fuel, commonly referred to as Zwazwa, from a transporter. It should be noted that the said transporter said that it was not meant for distribution to vendors. He was heading to his customer in Garwa Bulai. Details with Innocent Ase.
31,800 liters of illicit fuel, commonly called Zwa, intercepted by officials of the Ngaoundéré Regional Committee in charge of prohibiting the sale of contraband products in the Adamawa region. The transporter, a Cameroonian residing in Garoua, admitted he is aware the sale of such fuel is highly restricted in Cameroon.
Est-ce que vous savez que l'importation de Zwa chez nous est interdite? Oui, je le sais quand même.
He claims he was transporting the fuel from Nigeria to a customer in Garoua Boulay for delivery in the Central African Republic. But this claim was disputed by authorities who emphasized it was to be sold in Ngaoundéré.
Vous ne dites pas la vérité. Vous venez, c'est pour venir déverser ce carburant chez nous. Dans la ville de Ngaoundéré.
According to the transporter, no one knows him as a supplier in Ngaoundéré and he sells only in Garoua Boulay.
Mais Touboro, Garoua, là je vends, je suis responsable, je vends là-bas. Mais ici, je n'ai personne.
The 159 gallons of illicit fuel, Zwa of 200 liters each, have been confiscated for eventual recycling by the Cameroon Petroleum Depot.
On vient de mettre hors d'état de nuit et qui sera reversé à la SCDP pour être recyclé.
Authorities in the Adamawa region pledge to bring such an illegal practice to its complete end.
We are going to carry out several controls day and night in order to combat this phenomenon. You know that this contraband fuel damages our local economy.
This illicit fuel is banned in Cameroon due to its disastrous consequences it has had on the entire society.
And on to this sad news, Pauline Poinse Manyinga, journalist with Le Jour newspaper, is no more. She died this morning after a protracted illness. The firebrand editorialist at Le Jour newspaper, the French newspaper Daily, has been bedridden for several months now. She has been described by close friends and relatives as loving, peaceful and caring. To journalists here in the economic capital Douala and across the national territory, she is an exemplary media practitioner as well as an inspiration to many. It should be noted that Pauline Poinse Manyinga has featured on several programs on Equinox television, precisely Dimanche avec vous, Parole des Femmes, and she has equally been featuring on several programs on Equinox television. May her soul rest in peace. Now, the president of the National Communication Council has ordered for the suspension of politically oriented programs for all political parties represented at the level of the National Assembly. The message of Peter Esoka, who converged on Yaoundé, who met today in Yaoundé with other media practitioners, is directed to public as well as private media houses in Cameroon as campaigns ahead of the March 25th senatorial election begins Saturday. That's going to be tomorrow, the 10th of March 2018. The CNC president cautioned media practitioners on how to guarantee a hitch-free coverage of the election. And that brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Viewers, we thank you so much for joining us. We, of course, will be bringing to you the French version of this newscast. That's going to be at exactly 8 p.m. local time. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening.